Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble news channel. We're waiting for approval to start dealing in Ether ETFs and spot Ether. We haven't heard anything yet, but we expect to hear soon. The SEC has given the go-ahead for trading in spot Ethereum ETFs to start next week. This means that big investors can finally buy Ethereum. By any measure, the spot Bitcoin ETFs have been a pleasure to use. I believe that the inflows have been better than expected on the whole. They now own more than 1 million Bitcoin around the world in just the first 6 months, based on the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And this isn't going to stop. The US Bitcoin ETFs have had net withdrawals for 10 days in a row. And there was a lot of trading in the US Bitcoin ETFs just this morning. BlackRock with just over $340 million in stock trades in the first hour. Paul Brody, who leads blockchain around the world for Ernst & Young, describes why. Gold is what buyers buy when they want to put their money into precious metals, like as a hedge against inflation. In general, they don't buy palladium, silver, or any other type of rare valuable metal. I think that's how things will act in cryptocurrency too. Bitcoin is like real gold. It will work like web-based gold. It will be the most important crypto asset, just like gold is the most important valuable metal. In the same way, Ethereum has become the most popular tool for smart contracts and tokenized assets. It seems like Ethereum will take up more than 90% of all these tokenized real-world assets, which is kind of like what happened over there. Some companies like BlackRock are talking about putting things in place. Now, the well-known and trusted Citibank research thinks that the Ethereum spot ETFs will get up to $5.4 billion in net new money in the first 6 months. To give you an idea, this is about 30 to 35% of the net money that comes into Bitcoin ETFs. I think a lot more people will buy in the long run. For the first 6 months, though, I think 30% is a fair amount. In my mind, 10% is the worst case. As a first offer, I think we'll get about 10% of the AUM by the end of the day. So let it run for 6 months. That sounds like a good idea. Let's say that the ETH funds have 10% of the Bitcoin fund's value. I can see how that makes sense. This is a story with worth. This story is very different from the others. In a sense, ETH is a service. It's the same as buying ARBA. You're giving the crypto market fuel. That's a very limited look at how crypto is used to build the new world of decentralized banking. So once more, if you read in the news that the Ethereum spot ETFs failed, altcoins tend to lose value quickly, as shown by the fact that they only earned 10% in the first 6 months. That will be a great way to play with ETFs if you believe in it. But I think the amount of interest goes up from there, right? I think it will be an even smaller amount if a Solana ETF comes next. For this reason, I believe that more companies will follow State Street SSGA's lead and work with others to find active management strategies in this area. These strategies include putting these securities into portfolios and giving them context, which means they will be used less for speculation and more as an investment asset. We now know why the prices of Bitcoin and Ethereum are going up. Not so much with altcoins. Chainlink is one example. We have the chance to change the way the world works for the next 40 or 50 years while this big change takes place. As of today, Chainlink has opened the digital asset sandbox to financial companies. This is a huge step toward bringing traditional finance into crypto. Chainlink revealed the launch of its digital asset sandbox DAS on July 18th. DAS is a complete solution that lets traditional financial firms look at Web3 assets. Chainlink's DAS lets users start tokenized pilots and collaborative proof of concepts in just a few days, the company says. This helps normal institutions speed up the development of new digital assets. I think that's what's most exciting for me. Sergey Nazarov, CEO of Chainlink, talks about why it's important to be in crypto now and what the future holds for crypto. And I think society will get 2 very big things if that change takes place. The first thing it learns is that everything works a lot better in developed countries. In markets, information is built into the product, so people can't cheat the system. This means that information asymmetry is mostly gone. Systemic booms and busts in the economy happen less often now that people can think things through better. The money system works better as a whole. More goods are open to everyone. A small part of a hotel or restaurant that you like can be bought. There are a lot of interesting things that happen in developed markets, both in terms of the new products and things that are offered and the way the system works for everyone. Then we get to emerging markets, where people go from having nothing to having everything. They didn't have a bank account, they couldn't buy insurance, they couldn't trade with other countries, but now they do because they don't have to depend on their legal system. As an alternative to bank accounts, they can now rely on the cryptographic guarantees of smart contracts. These contracts are easy to use, safe, and connected to the rest of the world, so they can do business with others and store value in a stable coin, a central bank digital currency, or a tokenized deposit of some kind. Because of that, they can now change their whole economic life. We also know why Solana is pumping, of course. In the end, their ETF will come next. It was VanEck that filed the first application for a spot Solana ETF in the US at the end of last month. This month, CBO asked the CC to list ETFs that are linked to the cryptocurrency. It is now up to the agency to decide in 240 days whether to accept or reject the 19 applications to list VanEck goods and 21 shares. Injective as well. What does injective pumping mean? When we talk about exchange-traded products, let's talk about AINJ, the Injective Staking Exchange-Traded Product ETP, which is kind of like an ETF and was launched by 21 shares. This new product lets you invest in AINJ through big traditional financial exchanges and brokerages, and it also lets you earn staking rewards. You can buy this ETP and learn about AINJ Injective token if you're a traditional institution or just an investor on Wall Street. You can also stake it and get staking benefits just by holding the ETP as an approved financial service. AINJ makes it possible for more institutions to join and use Injective. It is 100% backed by real money, and you get 100% of the benefits for staking it. You can buy this right now at this many standard brokerages, environments, or platforms. That's huge, eToro. Now let's look at altcoins with smaller caps. As a big player in real estate and assets in the real world, Propi brings the two together. For more than 7 years, Propi has been changing the way real estate is done, and we're glad Vitalik sees on-chain real estate the same way we do. The good things that happen when you just play the digitization. It's likely that land holding rights are still not even digitalized in most of the world. The first thing that needs to be done to make any of that possible is digitizing. In the next step, going from digitizing to blockchainizing, you can show things about your current ownership in a much more direct way. You could do things like on-chain government. Overall, it gets a lot easier to compose, iterate, make everything programmable, and try out a lot of different ideas. That's the kind of stuff that I like. That's the video. As always, I'll see you tomorrow.